guys, this is Tina from Shabby Dabby Doo Dah. Welcome back to my channel. So we are here for another one of our mass making sessions. We are up to, I'm going to actually have to check it because I can't remember now which week we are up to. Oh, hold on 2 seconds. Oh, what is wrong with me? We are up to week number 177. Honestly, I had just watched the video and already I couldn't remember. So we're up to week number 177. So if you follow my channel, you'll know that we are doing reruns. So we are rerunning week number 77. We are now week number 177. So what we are making today, I'm just going to call that video up again so I remember what I called them. I called them hinged pockets for junk journals. Now, these were not my idea. They were taken from the lovely Sue over at Paper Inspirations. And she called it using a 12-inch sheet to make a pocket flip. I will try and remember to link her video below so that you can see her original pocket. But basically, she was using a 12 by 12 and she cut it down to a 6 by 6. And that was how she made them. So I'm going to kind of follow her lead in that I'm going to use 6 by 6 papers. However, I'm going to use printables, and I know I say this every week, but that's just because that's what I predominantly have this week. So you do not have to use printables. You can use whatever papers you have got, you know, so long as they're, I would say, thicker. So, you know, they don't have to be too thick, but personally I wouldn't probably use, you know, like photocopy quality paper, because I would find that very, very, very flimsy. So something kind of thicker. So my printables, I've printed these on, I think it was 220 GSM, something like that. So, I mean, it's not actually card, but it's definitely verging on card. So what you are going to need, you're going to need your selection of papers. Now, again, I would recommend probably double-sided if possible. If you don't have double-sided, maybe you could coffee dye the back or something, just so that the back is kind of patterned, only because you're going to see both sides of the paper. You're going to need some scissors. Now, obviously, if you like to use a paper trimmer, you will need a paper trimmer, and you may need a ruler if you're going to be cutting yours down, you know, very precisely to size. Now, I'm not going to get too worried about it. So what I'm going to do is just pull in a 6 by 6 paper pad, and I'm going to use this as my kind of template to cut my papers to size. Now, I'm not fussed about, you know, precision and whether my things turn out absolutely, you know, perfect, you know, measurements wise. Obviously, if you do, use a ruler, use your paper trimmer. So I'm just going to use my 6 by 6 piece of paper as my template. You may also want to have a circle punch as a thumb hole, or, you know, to make a thumb hole. Now, I've got here a 1-inch circle punch, and I've also got a 1.5-inch circle punch. So, you know, either of those or both of those. You may like to have a bone folder if you used, you know, like to use a bone folder to squish your papers down. If not, you could maybe use your scissor handles depending on your scissors. And then I'm going to just use glue to stick my pockets together. Again, Sue from Paper Inspirations actually stitched hers. I'm not stitching because I like to try and make the mass making, you know, as kind of accessible as I can to, you know, the majority of people. And I know not everybody likes to use their sewing machine. So I'm just going to use glue. I think that's pretty much all that we're going to need. The only other thing was Sue did make little flippy pads on the reverse of her pockets. So if you want to do that, you may want to have some sheets of paper. Now, I have pulled in coffee dyed paper. These are on just regular copy paper. This one I think is slightly thicker, maybe like 102 or something GSM. But, you know, it's not this thick paper. These are kind of flimsy sheets to make paper flippy pads. Again, that's an optional kind of thing. Or, you know, you may want to make the you know, base of the pocket and then do your flippy pads later. So they're all kind of like optional extras, really. If you're making a flippy pad, you may want to stitch that, or may want to just staple it. So, you know, lots of different options for making, and, you know, you can kind of do some stages now, some stages later, however kind of you like. So I'm going to run you through 1 or 2 to show you how to make them, and then we'll get into our normal kind of mass making style. So I'm going to take my template. Now I'm going to put this on my piece of paper, and I am just going to then cut around this to get my size. Now, like I say, I'm not a kind of like precision person. I'm not too worried if this is not, you know, a perfect 6x6. Doesn't worry me at all. You know, we could also try making these maybe from like an 8x8 or something like that, or, you know, 7x7. 6x6 was what Sue used. I think they would work perfectly well with any other measurements as well, or not even a precise measurement, just a square. So that is my little pocket. Now, this you can see, obviously double-sided. So I'm going to just fold this over here like that. Actually, I'm going to move the other papers so it's less distracting, because it's probably a little bit distracting having all the papers kind of sat there. So squish this down with your bone folder or your scissor handles. And then what you're going to do is you're going to want to make your pocket to go on there, if you see what I mean. So what you're going to have is you're going to have one piece stuck down as your hinge and then the other piece as your pocket. So I'm going to, let me just decide. Right. Oh, I can't decide. I'm going to cut this, I think. Yeah, I'm going to cut this. Now, oops, I'm going to cut it roughly in half. Again, I'm not measuring. I'm just kind of judging by eye roughly where I want to have that pocket. Okay, so this piece here, the top piece is going to be your hinge on the paper. This piece is going to be your pocket on the foldy flap. Now, Sue did hers this way round. So i.e. she folded that one over there, hers folded over here, she had the pocket here, and then the flippy pad here. I think these are pretty versatile, and you could do them in very, you know, varying ways. So you could have it kind of here, you know, and just an opening, however you like really. But I'm going to do my first one certainly exactly as Sue did hers. So we're just going to put it in here. Now this is where you may want to put your thumb hole. So I'm going to take my 1.5 inch punch. Oops. Again, just judge by eye, put my thumb hole in there. Now she stitched around hers. Obviously, like I say, I'm going to try and just make this kind of, you know, accessible to everybody. So I'm just going to glue it down. Now I use my Anita's tacky glue. That just is the glue that, you know, I like best. I do use the Fabri-Tac and or the 3-in-1 for when I do fabric stuff, but obviously this is just paper, so I'm just using my normal tacky glue. Okay, and again, you know, you can use whichever glue you like to use best. So that's my pocket there, and then all I'm going to do is I'm going to put a thumb hole here in this one. Oops, again, just trying to judge that by eye. Oops, like that. So then basically when this is now glued down on the page, just throw my little thumb hole bits away, you're going to have it glued down here. So you would glue down the 3 sides here like that. It would glue down on your page. So if I just pretend this is our journal page, this is going to be glued on 3 sides like that, and then your pocket piece is here. And then let's just put the flippy the flippy pads on like Sue did. So I'm just going to trim that edge up just because that was overhanging slightly. So I'm just going to take my sheets of my coffee dyed paper, trying to decide how I'm going to get the most out of this. So, right, let's just fold it down roughly there. Okay, like that. Okie doke. Like that. And then just going to, I'm going to fold this in on itself. kind of gauge roughly, whoops, where I want to fold this. And I'm hoping I'm going to get like 3 sheets. So I've got like three pages on my flippy pad, if that makes sense. So like that. Okay. So I just cut that down along the edge. And then cut this one down along this edge. Like that. Just then tear this down here. Oops. Like that. And then I'm just going to staple my pages together. So like I say, you could obviously stitch this on the sewing machine, you know, if you prefer. I'm just using my stapler. Okay. And then glue that onto there. So I'm just going to tear this bottom page down as well. Maybe even trim up the top a bit. Okay. Just get rid of my scraps here, just trying to be a bit tidy. And then I can just take this. I'm using my hot glue for this, but that's just, you know, because I'm doing a video and I just find that nice and quick and easy. So like that. Okay, so you've got your hinge piece here, which is going to be a top loading pocket. You've got your flippy pad, and then you've got this fold over here with obviously your front loading pocket. So super cute little pocket, isn't it? Okay, so let's make another one of those. We'll just do another one to kind of like run through it. I'm just going to quickly finish my tea. Well, I might have to have it in two sips. So I'll just pull in a different paper actually. So that paper, if you were wondering, because I know that, you know, you like to know what papers I'm using, that was the Gilded Blues paper that's in my Etsy shop. And the back, I have backed the back onto my invoice headers kit because I thought they were nice and kind of neutral. So I'm just going to put that one to one side. Right, so let's bring in another one. So I'm going to just bring in this one. Now, this one here, this is my new Pink Paris kit, which is in these beautiful duck egg and pink colours. Now, I have to say, I made this because I did a video where I've created a snippet roll in beautiful pinks and duck egg. And I loved it so much, it kind of inspired the kit. That video hasn't gone up yet. But when it does, I'll be saying, oh, I must make a kit in these colours. I have now made that kit. But, you know, if you watch it and you think, what's she talking about? She has. Obviously, when I made the video, I hadn't. So, again, I've cut my template from the 6x6 paper. I'm going to fold it in. And the back, again, it's just backed onto that invoice header papers. So, squish that down. Use my bone folder or my scissor handles. Right, finish my tea because that's very important. Okie dokie. Right. So I'm going to use this as my hinged pocket. So I'm just going to cut this in here. Okay. Now, obviously, you can see I have not measured or anything. I'm just judging by eye roughly where I want that pocket to be, okay? So that's going to be glued down onto the page. So this one, we could have the pocket this side or this side. So I'm going to do it this side. I think in the other video, I did kind of go off at a tangent and I ended up making them all kind of the reverse to how Sue had made them. So I'm going to try and be a bit better, I think, because actually her way was much better than mine. And, you know, that is one of the bonuses of rerunning these mass making sessions. And I know I've talked about this before, but, you know, because over time, you know, you do sometimes come up with kind of better ways or different ways, you know, or just ways that suit you better. And it's quite handy to kind of like, whoops, see the differences, isn't it? And then you can, you know, go with this style or the, you know, the method that suits you best. So that would be on there. this would be on the cover. So we will just pop the glue down here. Oops. Like that. Okie dokie. Like that. Okay. There we go. Like that. Okay. So that's your pocket there. You've got obviously your pocket that would attach to the page on that side. So just super cute, aren't they? And then, like I said, I mean, you could make the, you know, the flippy pads as you go, or, you know, you might find it easier to just think, oh, well, I can make the flippy pads, you know, kind of as and when I come to use them. For this one, I'll just make one quickly now, but maybe for the others, we'll just start making them, or, you know, I'll leave them without flippy pads, and then I can make the flippy pads, you know, when I come to actually use them. So like that. I'm just thinking, actually, I think I have got some pink food coloured paper sat here somewhere, so I'm just thinking, would I prefer to use that? Oh, now I'm looking. Have I got some? Pretty sure. Yeah, here we go. So I might prefer this actually on this one, just because this has got the pinks. So let's just fold this up. Oops. Like that. Okay. There we go. And then just, yep, that one. Okay. Fold that one over, and then fold this over. Like that. Okay. On this side. Oops. Okie dokie. So again, we will glue these to, not glue them, sorry, staple these like that. 1, 2, 3. And then I'm just going to trim it down slightly across the top. And then I'm just going to tear these pages. I just quite like that sort of look when they're not all the same length at the bottom. I think that's quite nice. And just that one as well. And I do quite like the torn bottom. I think looks very pretty. So like that. And then we can obviously glue that one. Oops, glue that one down. Oops. So just pop this one down here. Like that. Okay. Like that. Okie dokie. So that's that one. So how pretty does that look? Super, super nice pockets, aren't they? So yeah, I mean, I've probably shown you through enough now, so we could probably just now kind of assembly line style them. So what I will do is kind of like do all my cutting in one go, all my folding, all my punching of the thumb holes, and then all my gluing. So yeah, I'll kind of stop talking you through the process now, because obviously, you know, like I say, then, you know, quite simple, and you know, you've probably kind of got the hang of it. And yeah, we can just relax now, have a nice time, have a catch up, and yeah, just enjoy ourselves and have kind of, you know, an hour out just crafting. So right, let's just bring in some papers now to use. So okay. So I hope everybody's week has started out well. I just kind of, you know, say this, and I just repeat myself every week saying these same old boring things really. But yeah, I'm filming this on a Monday. So my week's literally just started out, obviously ready to go up for you guys on the Tuesday. So yeah, obviously your week's slightly further in than mine, but I hope that you guys have, you know, had a week start out well anyway. Just choosing a few papers, trying to make sure that I've got a few different looks, because I don't want them all to look really boring and the same. I've got this one from my French collection, which unfortunately I did a load of coffee dye on yesterday, and now look, kind of splattered coffee dye all over this. So annoying. But actually I could probably get away with it by just using kind of a portion. So yeah, probably do that. I've got this one, which, oh, that's quite nice actually. Right, okay. So yeah, I will obviously mention the papers as I kind of pull them in. I mean, I did say about making some that were perhaps bigger, didn't I? So we could maybe make some that are bigger. Well, we'll see. I'll use my kind of 6x6 as a guide, but maybe kind of like go out slightly bigger. Like maybe kind of go out by like 1 centimetre to 1 inch around it. So yeah. And you know, who knows, this might look rubbish. I haven't really tried this. And I'll kind of wish that I hadn't, but just for a different look, you know, we'll do that with 1 or 2 of them. So, and this brown paper with the pink, this is from my Great Expectations kit. And the back, I've backed it onto the rich damask background papers. So yeah, I should just put that to one side. So I'm just going to do all my cutting. So first of all, I just have to apologise. I am so sorry, guys, about last week and the fact that there was no mass making. I really do apologise. I absolutely hate it when, you know, I let you guys down and, you know, don't do things that we kind of ordinarily do as a, you know, a kind of normally scheduled event, you know, as such, which of course I feel like the mass making are. So this is my French collection, like I say, and it's backed onto the vintage, you know, document headers. And then this one here, this is from my pale damask collection, and again it's backed onto those headers sheets. Yeah, I'm so sorry. Basically, I was suffering a lot of anxiety last week. I've got the ongoing stuff about my divorce now. This probably not the appropriate video to be talking about it, and I do keep saying I'm going to do an update video. I still am meaning to do an update video. I'm finding things very difficult to talk about and things at the moment, so that's really why I haven't done the video yet. But yeah, I was just kind of, yeah, very much struggling last week with anxiety, so that's why there was no mass making. So I just want to say a massive thank you to all those lovely people who contacted me saying, you know, hope everything's okay. You know, you left comments in response to my post saying I hope everything's okay. So, you know, I mean, things are okay, obviously. You know, I'm okay. But I'm definitely struggling a little bit at the moment. So yeah, I do apologise, but yeah, we're here back now. So I won't dwell on it too much here, because I don't want to kind of bring the mood down in the video, but just so as you know, and I've just kind of put it out there that that's why I had to put the post up and no mass making. This is my Great Expectations, and again it's backed onto the document headers. So, and this is my the rich damask again. So we'll just, you know, take this one down. So yeah, I mean, aside from that, let's move on to more positive stuff. So what have I been up to? Well, obviously it's been 2 weeks. So I can't really remember, I'm afraid, the week before last. Life kind of becomes a blur, doesn't it? And this is also the rich damask, which I just thought looked really pretty. It is backed with the blue invoice headers, which, you know, I'm not so sure that I'm so comfortable with that. So actually I might not use this as the, you know, as one of these. So I'll use this instead, which is from the French collection. So yeah. Anyway, so basically my highlight of the weekend this week was on Saturday. It was an okay day. I mean, it was, yeah, not too bad weather-wise. So my daughter was at her dad's house, and well, she was with her dad, and the boys and I took Bo, you know, my lovely doggy, or our lovely doggy, perhaps I should say. We took her down to the beach. Oh my goodness, we had such a lovely time. So since she's been with us, we haven't kind of, you know, really kind of done anything much like that, because actually the weather's been pretty atrocious. Either it's not been nice weather, you know, it's too cold, or it's been raining, or, you know, variety of things. Oh, sorry, that's the postman. She's obviously now making a fuss about the postman. So I've just, yeah, must try and kind of get this right, because I've obviously printed this with the document headers. Oh, I'm so sorry. Now the postman wants me to obviously go out. Hold on. Oh, I'm so sorry about that. By the time I got there, the post, it was actually a postwoman today, had gone. But yeah, I'd obviously kind of then dragged myself down, and only to find she was then gone. Right, so yeah, what was I saying? I can't even remember. Oh yes, we took Bo to the beach. So yes, we hadn't really kind of done anything like that, because since we've had her, the weather's either been, you know, not very nice, or, you know, various different things. So anyway, it was kind of like, yeah, like a bit of a sort of test, I suppose, because, you know, we let her off her lead. And I know this sounds a bit of a ridiculous thing to say, but I was really nervous about letting her off, because obviously, you know, she's only been with us obviously a short time, and I just thought, well, will she come back? So this is my Gilded Blues kit. Sorry, this was also the Great Expectations kit. This is the Gilded Blues, and I'm just wondering, like, if I want to have anything particular showing on one of the pockets, you know, I'm going to need to kind of cut this carefully. So thinking maybe have the clock with the bird. So yeah, perhaps I'll kind of try and cut it in here. Oops. Just trying to gauge where I need to cut this. Yeah, so I was a little bit kind of nervous, because I just thought, well, you know, she's only been with us a short time. Will she feel like she is our dog enough to come back to us, if you know what I mean? You know, like if we let her off her lead, you know, would she just run off? I know this just sounds a crazy thing to say, but, you know, I didn't know. So, yeah, anyway, we got there, and we let her off her lead. Oh my goodness, she made our day so much. It was just so lovely, because I felt like, you know, she's cemented in our family now, because she was kind of like running off, say maybe, I don't know, like 50 yards or something, and then she was running back to us constantly all the time, you know, kind of like, you know, running about, having a nice time, but didn't want to quite go too far away from us. And so, you know, that kind of made me feel safe in the knowledge that she's not going to run off. And I felt really thrilled that I thought, well, she must feel she's now properly part of the family. You know, the fact she didn't want to run off, I suppose. So yeah, I was really, really, really chuffed about that. So that was kind of like my highlight of the whole weekend was, you know, we just had such a nice time with her, and oh, I just was like, oh, she's properly kind of like in our family now. So yeah, that's kind of, you know, the highlight of probably my year so far. It was so lovely, and we had such a nice time. So yeah, it was really, 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 really good. Trying to think what else I've been doing. So it is half term this week. So, you know, the schools are on holiday. I mean, I can't believe it's half term already. I mean, where has that time gone, honestly? It feels like the kids have only gone back, you know, from Christmas, literally the other day. And now already they're on holiday. It's just crazy how fast the time goes. But yeah, so it's school holidays. So my son, my 16-year-old, he's, you know, he's doing his apprenticeship, as you know, and he's not going to be 17 until July. So it's a little way off. Sorry, August. I don't know why I said July. Sorry about that. August, he's going to be 17. Yeah, so, I mean, it's, you know, it's quite a way off yet, isn't it? But he obviously is super excited, because over here in the UK, you know, you learn to drive at 17. Or, you know, you can learn to drive. I'm not saying everybody does, but that's the age that you can legally learn to drive from. And he cannot wait to learn to drive. And I know that I've talked about this before, I think, when my other son was going to learn to drive, you know. I mean, learning to drive is such a monumental kind of change to your quality of life, isn't it? You know, it kind of goes from like, you know, you can't really do a great deal because you're like dependent on your parents and things like that. And, you know, obviously now kind of it's just me. you know, and I go to bed very early and things like that, so I can't kind of like give lifts late at night and, you know, stuff. To suddenly you are completely independent, and, you know, that is just like the biggest change, I think. So he literally cannot wait to learn to drive. So yeah, subsequently he's constantly looking at cars now, you know, and emailing me or sending me cars. In fact, you've probably heard the phone bleep a couple of times even during this video, because yeah, he'd kind of sent me some cars on his way to work, and, you know, he's, yeah, kind of saying, oh, did you see that car, you know. So yeah, he's very excited. Right, I'm going to start now cutting my pockets for all of them. So I just want to decide which way I want my pockets to be. I mean, that's really nice. So I'm kind of thinking, actually, would I prefer... Yeah, I think I'm going to cut it here. So I'm going to cut it here so that I can see and make sure I still keep that there. Yeah, so he absolutely can't wait. You know, not surprisingly, because like I say, I mean, I would, you know, totally think it is like the biggest change that happens to you when you're a youngster, isn't it? Is when you learn to drive. So, I mean, I guess other than leaving school, I mean, now I'm thinking about it, I think, oh, actually, there's probably loads of things that happen to you that are quite monumental, to be honest. But, you know, I definitely think, you know, learning to drive is definitely up there, isn't it? Up there as one of the biggest things that you do. So yeah, he absolutely can't wait. Yeah, I think like that. Although actually now I've just looked. Oh, I don't know. I've kind of mucked this up a bit. This one. Well, unless I have it this way round and we actually do. Yeah, perhaps that was more what I was trying to do. Yeah. Okay. Okay. We haven't really been to the cinema lately, partly because actually since we've had Bo, we don't really want to go out and leave her, and yeah, it just feels really bad to kind of go out and leave her on her own. So I know that just sounds like pathetic, but you know, yeah, we just don't want to leave her. I think partly because it's winter at the moment, it feels worse. Maybe if it were summer, it wouldn't feel quite so bad. But to go out and kind of like go to the cinema and then leave her in the dark, I mean, obviously we would leave the light on for her. And, you know, actually on the odd occasion when we have been out and left her, we've also left the TV going so that she's got, you know, got the TV. But yeah, it just kind of feels really... you know, really bad to kind of to leave her. Just looking to see what way I want that. I'll sort out, you know, the direction I think of these in a minute, because I'm probably getting a bit sort of carried away about how I'm putting these, I think, but never mind. Yeah, so we kind of haven't really been to the cinema much. I'm trying to think if I've watched anything on Netflix. I don't think anything worth watching, definitely. It's not really been anything worth watching. So, yeah, I haven't kind of started watching anything in particular. Yeah, life's just been kind of like going by. I just want to say a massive thank you, actually, to everybody who's bought any of my... sorry, I'm just again deciding which way I want this. To anybody who's bought any of my new papers, which I put in my shop. So I put some papers in my shop over the weekend, the new collections papers. Now, I know I've talked about these before, but the collections papers, they're like the damask ones. They're a kind of new thing that I'm doing where I just think actually... Isn't it lovely to just have like basic background papers, you know, much like you buy a paper pad, you know, because obviously I can't get enough of paper pads, really. I just absolutely love them. So I thought, well, actually, you know, what a nice thing to be able to just have a bunch of paper, like paper pads, but that you can obviously print out as much as you like. you know, and do them in collections. So yeah, I added another few to my shop, and I added the shabby chic collection, oops, the postal collection, and the, oh, what was the other one? Oh, the Victorian London collection. So yep, I added those. So I just want to say thank you to anyone who's bought those. Thank you also to anyone who bought the Country Cottages kit, and I really appreciate your lovely kind words, and so thrilled that so many people seem to be absolutely loving that kit. So thank you so much, and yeah, really pleased that you're all really enjoying it, those people who've obviously purchased it. I apologise, I'm so behind with my emails again. Not really helped by the fact that, you know, last week, like I say, I was just really struggling with anxiety. And one of the things that happens is I just can't really kind of bring myself to talk at all. So even just kind of replying to emails, I know this just sounds a ridiculous thing to say, but it's just like a, you know, I just can't do it because, yeah. So, you know, luckily it was a kind of creative week. So, you know, I spent a lot of time kind of creating, obviously, the background papers. But it's just a sort of solitary time where I just, you know, I can't really kind of like talk or anything. So I spent the whole week kind of hiding from people, not really seeing anybody or speaking to anybody. And just kind of, yeah, like, I don't know, just hiding, really, hiding from the world. So yeah, it's not a good situation really, but anyway, that's that. So hence I didn't do, obviously, you know, film really much last week at all. So I need to kind of get some filming done this week to try and get on top of obviously keeping videos in the bank. So, but thank you so much to everybody as well who's sent their well wishes to my mum. I know that lots of you have mentioned my mum and kind of like hoped that she's doing well. So I just want to reassure everybody she is doing fantastic. Yeah, she's doing really, really well. I actually went to see her on Saturday afternoon after the beach for the first time. Again, because I've been kind of even hiding from my parents, really. That's just how I cope with anxiety, really, is I just hide myself away from the world. So, yeah, I did go and see them, though, for the first time since she's had her operation. Obviously, I have seen her since her op, but I've not actually kind of been to see them, if you see what I mean. Like, you know, I've met them a couple of times in Costa, but I haven't actually been over to see them. So we just stopped there because they happen to live right near the beach. But yeah, she's doing fantastically well. I mean, she was even kind of walking around the house without her, you know, her crutches or her walking stick or anything. So she's doing amazingly well. So, and she looks so much better. You know, I think I said this before, it's amazing the toll it takes on you, you know, when you're having a kind of traumatic event, which to her, obviously, that was very traumatic. She'd got herself really, you know, struggling herself with anxiety. And actually, she was kind of the same and like hid away, really. So I didn't really see much of her for a while. You know, my sisters or I didn't, because she kind of like hides herself away. So that's just something I think we do, is how we cope with anxiety. And yeah, so anyway, but when I had seen her, she was just looking really awful. And, you know, that's not meant as a derogatory comment. I just mean she wasn't looking herself. You know, she was looking kind of like tired and kind of drained. And she looks so good now, like so healthy, so good, just back to her normal self. And I thought, well, that's how it is, isn't it? It's so draining when you've got things that you're worrying about. So yeah, I'm looking forward to everything in my life being cleared up and, you know, looking my normal self again and feeling my normal self, because, you know, I'm pretty sure that I'm looking quite drained and awful myself, but, you know, it is what it is. But yeah, so thank you so much to everyone who's, you know, asked and inquired and sent their love to my mum. So yeah, she's doing great. So, and just, you know, amazing how quick the body, you know, recovers from things, isn't it? So yeah, she's doing fantastically well. So I think she's also amazed, you know, at how well she's doing. She can't quite believe it. you know, and she, you know, she herself is the first person to say, oh, I don't know why I was in such a state. But, you know, that's how it is, isn't it? Sometimes, you know, you get yourself in a state and there's no explanation as to why, but you just do. So, yeah, she's kind of, anyway, been feeling really, really, really good now. So thank you very much for all your lovely comments. And thank you so much to everybody who's taken the time to comment and things generally and, you know, given a thumbs up. I'm going to try and get myself in the habit of saying, oh, please give this video a thumbs up, you know, if you like this video. Because, you know, this is another thing is, you know, I'm very bad at kind of doing that type of thing. I just feel very uncomfortable saying things like that. But it is something that kind of you need to do. So not you need to do as in do a thumbs up, but I just mean, you know, trying to kind of promote the videos a little bit. So yeah, you know, as you know, my son is doing his digital marketing apprenticeship, and yeah, kind of like, it's just interesting when we talk about things, you know, all those little things like, you know, saying at the end of your thing, you know, oh, please give this video a like and a thumbs up, you know, those kinds of things. Although I don't feel comfortable saying things like that, they kind of are like, you know, probably even expected. So yeah, need to kind of start doing things like that a bit more, but there we go. So little Bo, she is laying in here in her bed. So I know I did say before, and I know that when I showed her, she was in her bed, wasn't she, in my craft room? So yeah, she's like got in a little routine. Ah, that is the big news actually, or not really the big news, but the big talking point is, so Bo went through a little phase of, she just suddenly was like really, really, really crying and like really kind of like depressed and sad, and I just was like so traumatized for her and thought, oh my goodness, you know, what's going on? And weirdly it coincided with my daughter had been for like an afternoon at my sister's house and played with, you know, with her cousin, and when she came back it seemed to be around the time that Bo started acting really weirdly. So I put it down to, I thought, well, I think she's, you know, she's traumatized. She's kind of like, she can smell the other two dogs that she used to live with, and that's really upset her. So anyway, it went on for a couple of days, and actually she seemed to get worse and worse, to the point she was just literally moping around and crying all the time. And I thought, oh, well, this is no good. She's, you know, she's obviously going to have to go back to my sister because she doesn't like living here. She's obviously very unhappy. And then I spoke to my sister, and my sister said, and I do apologise because I've told this story in another video, but a video that probably won't go up for months and months and months. So you're going to hear this a second time in the coming months. And obviously it will be not even timely or anything. But so my sister said, well, it suddenly occurred to me, I think what's happening, maybe she's having a phantom pregnancy. So she said, if you squeeze one of her, you know, like glands and milk comes out, then that's what's happening. Well, I couldn't believe it. So I did that, and sure enough, a little bit of milk came out, and I thought, wow, that's what it is. So thank the Lord, you know, that was what it was, because then I obviously Googled that to kind of check some other symptoms, and sure enough, like, you know, she had a ball that she'd taken to kind of like cuddling in her bed, and just a few things that she was doing just were all kind of, you know, symptomatic of what it said they get when they have this phantom pregnancy. And definitely, yeah, obviously the milk was the, you know, divining kind of thing. So it was such a good, you know, bit of news really. So, you know, obviously that was very sad for her. But that was fantastic news for us, because, I mean, prior to that, I thought, oh, my goodness, she's going to have to go back to my sister because she's obviously suddenly really missing the other dogs, you know. But actually, touch wood, that just lasted for a few days, and now she's gone back to normal. So, yeah, just so sad. I felt so sorry for her, you know, because it's horrible, isn't it? A bit like when your kids are small and they can't tell you what's wrong. and you just want to take the pain away, don't you? And, you know, you don't know what's wrong with them. But you just, you know, you desperately want to help them, but you can't, you know, you can't help them. It was that kind of scenario. And, yeah, I was feeling just really mortified, you know, that she was not, obviously, not happy. But, yeah, touch wood, that was all it was. So that was a couple of weeks ago now. So hopefully we are now on the other side and she's now feeling fine. Right, okay, so I have done all of my pockets now. So let's have a quick review and see how many we've done. So we've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 10. Which is a good amount, isn't it? So I probably will leave the flippy pads and do them another, you know, another day. Just because otherwise we're going to be here all day just doing this. So let's just decorate one of these up. And then you can see how, you know, how they'd look decorated. So sorry about that. Right, okay, so I'm back. Now, what I've got here are these two. So I've got this one, which I've not put a flippy pad on. And this was how I mainly did them in the first mass making. So I kind of was utilising them with the pocket here and a pocket here. And then just the front for kind of decorating, rather than this one, which has got the pocket on the front and then the flippy pad. So it just kind of depends. So what I thought we could do is decorate both types so that you can just kind of get a feel for, you know, the two different types. I've got this piece here, which I just thought looked lovely with this paper, to be honest. So I think I'm going to use that. I'm just going to double check actually. It does also look pretty nice on there. But no, I think, I don't know now. Yeah, I was so convinced that I was, also looks quite nice on there, but no, I'm going to use this. This is a piece from my new Perfect Pocket kits. I think it's kit 8 or set 8 that's from. And then these are from the, oh gosh, I can't remember now what the name of this kit is. It might be the Victorian vintage kit. But I thought that something kind of small to go on this, because of course, you know, it's got the pocket, so it just needs something kind of smaller. So I'm just going to take these now. There are also these ones with the pink flowers. So it just depends whether I want to add a bit of colour or keep it neutral, really. Oh, well, if we were adding colour, let's just check out this one. Okay, right. We've got a few different ones to choose from there. I mean, I've also got my flowers, but yeah, I think I'm going to stick with these types of pieces. So just going to take a butterfly. So let's just drop this down. Oh, it's turning really chilly. Got my little, you know, fan heater switched off, but yeah, I might have to put it on again in a minute. Well, I've not had it on so far this morning, but yeah, it is getting quite chilly, so I might have to put it on. Okay. Okie dokie. There we go. So, like that. Okay. Oh my goodness, how gorgeous does that look? Love, love, love the look of that. So I don't even know if I really need to ink it much, because obviously it is, you know, it is brown. I'm not sure how much the ink will even show up, but we'll just ink a bit. So I'll ink around the butterfly just to disguise my shoddy cutting. Just think this probably, you know, not really kind of making any difference to this piece, but I'm just going to ink around the pocket piece itself. I mean, like I say, it is brown, so how much this is even kind of showing up is, you know, debatable, to be honest, but let's just pop that on like that. Okay. Right. Okay. Okay. Right, I'll just put a little bit there. Okay, so yeah. Oops, let me put that upside down then. So that one, now just need to pick a lace for this. So could go with ivory, which I've got some ivory lace here. I mean, that is very pretty, to be honest. I was going to say, or we could do something really crazy, like go for pink. I know that is kind of crazy, but I just thought maybe pick up the pink of her dress. So let's just have a quick look and see. I mean, I don't know how this will look. It might look rubbish, but I mean, I'm not sure it's really even looking very pink, if you know what I mean. You know, it's not really perhaps even showing up as very pink, but oh, that is pretty. Oh, that is pretty, I think. So yeah, let's put the pink down. Okay. I mean, you could do things like round the corners, you know, for some other different looks. You know, again, they're another one of those versatile things. And that's the thing with most of the things that we create, isn't it? There's so much kind of versatility with, you know, most of the things, I think, that we create, that, you know, you've got kind of endless options that you can do with stuff. You know, and I'm the world's worst for, you know, getting kind of like stuck in a rut and kind of doing the same old things. You know, I really am. So I'm not trying to say I embrace kind of doing loads of different things, but, you know, I wish I could. But yeah, I think, you know, we're all guilty a bit, aren't we, of, or, you know, most of us. I mean, probably a sweeping statement to say all, but yeah, I think a lot of us probably are guilty of, you know, getting stuck kind of just doing the same old things kind of all the time. Okay. Oops. Just lift that lace up. Only because it had got a little bit screwed up, obviously, where it was being stored in my drawer. So I just needed to kind of smooth that out. Okay. So, yeah. Oh, my goodness. How gorgeous is that? I absolutely love it. Love it, love it, love it. Now, do we want any kind of label or word or anything like that on there? I think I've got some of my book plates, which I've finally printed off a bunch of stuff. Oh my goodness, just on the word of printing. So, you know, if you watch my channel, you'll know I've been having endless problems with my printer. So I've, touch wood, been a bit better the last couple of weeks. And I thought, oh, thank goodness, you know, we're over. Oh, that's not the right colour pink. You know, we're past the problems. Well, I am, you know, touch wood, kind of, you know, my printer's kind of doing okay. However, I have now run out of yellow ink. Hopefully, you know, there's some more on the way. I'm not kind of meaning they've not been sending the ink. I just mean, you know, I happen to have run out of ink because last week I was kind of just, you know, not filming, and I was kind of like printing a lot of stuff, obviously, while I was trying to create my background pages. So, you know, I really printed a lot last week. So, you know, rightly so. Of course, the printer's going to have run out of ink. But so I'm now back to, I can't now print anything again. And so in the end, I thought, well, this is just crazy and madness. I've got no choice but to actually, you know, buy another printer. So yeah, it kind of like, you know, I'd been putting it off and, you know, kept thinking I must order another one. And I had ordered another one. Then I sent it back because it was just so rubbish quality. It just wasn't, you know, man enough for the job. But everything's got so expensive. So the normal kind of standard of printer that I have ordered previously from, you know, like a HP branded printer with the instant ink, they're just really, really, really expensive now. So I just kind of thought, well, I can't really afford it. Anyway, yesterday I just thought, I'm going to have to bite the bullet, I think, and get an EcoTank printer because, you know, this whole not being able to print thing, I mean, it's just very, 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 you know, restrictive. And obviously, you know, this is kind of my work. It's not like, you know, just a fun thing. I mean, it's kind of like, you know, actually then prevents me being able to kind of finish what I'm doing. Or sometimes, you know, prevent kind of being able to do a video because I can't print off things and things like that. So I thought, well, I really do need to be able to have a printer that's decent. So anyway, I bit the bullet and I've ordered an EcoTank printer. I think it was £279 or £249, I think. I got it from Amazon and hopefully it's coming today. Now, I have to say, I did read a lot of the reviews that said it's a bit of a pig to set it up. So I'm not overly looking forward to it arriving because I hate doing things like that. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure it will be fine. You know, I'm sure once it's set up, I will love it, you know. But yeah, just kind of not looking forward to my, you know, next couple of days of potentially having to set it up because no doubt it will probably end up taking a couple of days. But having said that, I'm sure I'm going to be really pleased once it is. So yeah, it was, oh gosh, an Epson, 28400 or something like that, I think. But if, you know, if it's good, I will obviously let you know kind of, you know, how it's going and what it's like. But yeah, I just thought, well, I've got no choice because actually it was becoming so, you know, such a sort of inconvenience and a nuisance keep not being able to print. So we shall see. Anyway, so that's that one. Isn't that just so gorgeous? So let's do that one. And then this one. Now, do we want to stick colourless or do we want to go coloured? So let's just get a couple of coloured pieces and try them. Okay. Like that. Okay. Right, there we go. Let's try that one. What do we think to the pink? I mean, I know that's a kind of like strange addition, but I actually really like it. You know, I kind of think, ooh, you know, it's quite nice to do the, you know, the not the obvious or the safe option, isn't it? But instead kind of push yourself outside of your comfort zone and do something else. So we'll just take this one. Okay. Okie dokie, right. Oh, I love how that looks, to be honest. It's really, really, really pretty, isn't it? Now, just wondering, I have also got these pink flowers. I'm not sure whether that would be a bit too much, but let's just take one of these. Okay. Okay. Okay, like that. Yeah, so we'll see. I mean, obviously, I watched Joey DeFee's brilliant video where she talked about her printers and things, and I watched, now I can't remember whether it was just a general video from Rachel where she just happened to be talking about printers or whether she actually did one on printers. I can't honestly remember, but anyway, I know she was talking about printers. So yeah, and obviously I did watch some other ones and I looked at, you know, reviews and things like that. And then of course it came down to kind of price really. And that one just happened to be on offer. So, you know, and it was quite a bit cheaper on Amazon than it was anywhere else. So we shall see. But, you know, it had mixed reviews. I mean, I hope the quality will be okay. You know, a lot of the reviews said the quality was great. One or two said not so good. So we shall just see. But, you know, at the end of the day, I thought, well, even if I just had it to just be able to print, you know, when I'm creating my printables rather than the final versions, that would perhaps be, you know, quite a help in itself. So we shall see. We shall see how it, you know, how it is when it arrives, obviously. But yeah, fingers crossed anyway. So, I mean, I can't wait for it to arrive. But, yeah, I mean, I'm not overly looking forward to having to set it up because, oh, I just hate doing things like that. And actually, I will say that for the HP ones, I mean, they are so slick and so brilliant to set them up. You know, they've really got that down to kind of T now. And, you know, they take like literally 10 minutes and it's set up. So, yeah, I will say that for their ones. They are amazing to set them up. And I just fear that that Epson is not going to be as good because a lot of the reviews said what a pain it was to set it up. So, not my favourite thing to do, but anyway, it is what it is. So hopefully it won't be too bad, but I am kind of preparing myself for the worst, so we shall see. Right, so I'm wondering if we could do something like that, or maybe like that. Oh, that's quite nice, isn't it? So I know it's kind of like, wow, there's a lot of pink going on there, but oh my goodness, how pretty does it look? So yeah, let's just kind of smother it in pink, shall we? So yeah, so that blue, like I say, it's from the Gilded Blues, that blue. And then this, obviously, you know, these are just my flowers, and the pink bits, these are from, I think it's called Victorian Vintage, I actually can't remember, but yeah. And again, isn't it so weird how sometimes, you know, never in a million years would I have thought that I would be mixing these type combination of things together, but they actually look really nice, don't they? So, you know, goes to show how sometimes playing it safe and doing the obvious thing, you know, not the best thing at all. So there we go. Right. Oops. Sorry, just knocked that leaf out. So there we go. Right. And then this one down here. Now, just wondering, obviously I've put the thumb hole in now, so I've kind of mucked up the opportunity of lace across there. Let's just see if we want some lace going across here or anything. I mean, it's maybe a bit strange. We could have some lace at the bottom, I suppose. Well, that's quite nice, isn't it? Let's just do the lace at the bottom. Oops. Okay. Right, okay. Quickly take that on down. Oh my goodness, doesn't that look gorgeous? Really love it. Honestly, I mean, it's so weird, isn't it? You know, never in a million years would I have thought of putting any of these bits together. But then you do, and it's like, wow, that is like a feast for the eyes. Those, you know, those wonderful colours together. Don't they just look scrumptious? I just absolutely love them. I don't think I've got that one on very straight, but never mind. It's glued down too much to be able to pick it off and restick it now. But anyway. And then on the inside, I could always put something else. So, yeah, I can't see what at the moment. But, I mean, I could even put like a book plate in this colour on the inside, which would kind of then tie in blue from the, you know, from the outside. I'm not going to do that right now because I'm going to try and use my scan and cut for those. But that is our decorated pockets. So yeah, I really hope that you like them. As I say, completely not my idea at all. They are Sue from Paper Inspirations. They were her idea. I will try and remember to link the video, you know, her original video. If I forget, please just nudge me. It's not deliberate. I just am shockingly rubbish at remembering anything. And yeah, I want to just say thank you so much to everybody for watching. So yeah, that's kind of it. So I just want to say thank you so much for watching. Hope you had a great time if you made some of these and really enjoyed, you know, the process. And yeah, thank you. If you enjoyed this video, please, you know, give me a thumbs up. And thank you so much. I will see you guys tomorrow. Thanks then. Bye.